rising over a field drenched in blood. Smoke curled across the broken earth. Tattered flags lay half-buried beneath the dead. For centuries, we've been told this was the last stand, a hopeless defense where a handful of heroes faced an unstoppable enemy. They fought to the last man, we're told. Only they didn't, because the truth, that so-called last stand, was a myth, a story rewritten by victors to mask betrayal, ambition, and survival at any cost. History loves a clean ending, but behind every glorious defeat, there's usually someone who didn't die when they were supposed to. And in this story, that survivor didn't become a hero. He became a ghost history tried to erase. So what happens when one of the most famous last stands in history wasn't really a last stand at all? Today, we uncover the Battle of Thermopylae, the fight the world turned into legend, and the truth that ancient propaganda buried for 2,500 years. Close your eyes. You can see it. 300 Spartans, shoulder to shoulder, defying 1,000,000 Persians. Spears gleaming, shields locked, a king who refused to kneel. That's the image burned into our minds by movies, textbooks, even national pride. King Leonidas, the man who fought to the last breath. But the truth, carved in ancient accounts and unearthed by modern historians, is messier and far more human. It's August 480 BC. The Persian king Xerxes has brought an army so vast it drinks rivers dry. Marching toward Greece, he faces a single choke point, Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, a narrow coastal pass where mountains crush the road to the sea. Perfect terrain for defense. Leonidas, leading a coalition of Greeks, stations about 7,000 men there, not 300. They hold the pass for 2 days, slaughtering wave after wave of Persians. Arrows blot out the sun, yet the Greeks fight in the shadow. So far, the legend holds true. But then comes the twist history rarely admits. A local named Ephialtes, a name still cursed in Greek memory, betrays the defenders. He reveals a hidden mountain trail that allows Persian troops to outflank the Greeks. Leonidas faces a choice: retreat and regroup, or stay and die for glory. According to Herodotus, he dismissed most of the army, keeping only his Spartans, Thespians, and Thebans. A last stand, right? Not exactly. Evidence suggests the retreat was strategic. Leonidas wasn't ordered to die. He was supposed to delay, then withdraw. But politics, pride, and Spartan law forced his hand. In Sparta, retreat wasn't an option. From birth, Spartan boys were taught one command: return with your shield, or on it. When word spread that other Greek states were withdrawing, Leonidas faced the impossible. To retreat would brand him a coward. To die would make him eternal. So he stayed, not because it was militarily smart, but because it was politically necessary. The final morning, the Persians close in from both sides. Greek armor clashes with Persian steel. They fight like men buying time. By mid-morning, their weapons shatter. They fight with teeth and hands. Leonidas falls. His body sparks a desperate struggle, the Spartans fighting not to live, but to retrieve their king's corpse. Xerxes wins, but at staggering cost. One Spartan survived, Aristodemus. Sent away with an eye infection, he lived while his brothers died. When he returned home, Sparta branded him a coward. He slept alone, ate alone, spoke to no one. A year later at Plataea, he fought like a man possessed and died. But he wasn't the only survivor. At least one other Spartan made it home and lived quietly into old age. That didn't fit the myth, so it was erased. After Thermopylae, the story spread like wildfire. Poets, sculptors, politicians, everyone needed heroes. They polished the story into perfection. A few brave men facing countless enemies. Death as victory. It became the founding myth of Western valor, the idea that courage matters more than survival. But behind it was an empire's propaganda machine. The Spartans needed their failure to look like triumph. They lost the battle, but gained immortality through storytelling. Archaeology shows Thermopylae wasn't the narrow death trap legend claims. The Persians could have flanked it easily. It wasn't a perfect trap. It was a planned delay, not a suicidal stand. Leonidas' goal wasn't to die. It was to buy time for the fleet at Artemisium. His death became the rallying cry that fueled final Greek victory at Salamis and Plataea. The legend worked, but it wasn't history. It was psychological warfare centuries ahead of its time. We picture last stands as pure courage, Custer, Masada, the Alamo. But real history is rarely that clean. More often, it is shaped by fear, politics, pride. Leonidas didn't die because Persians demanded it. He died because his own people's expectations demanded it. After the dust settled, Xerxes stood among the corpses of Spartans. He ordered Leonidas' head cut off, an insult to a king. Then he marched on Athens, leaving Thermopylae behind. But somewhere in those ruins, a few Greeks crawled away. They saw the broken shields, the silence. They carried that memory for life, but never spoke it aloud, because legends feed nations. Truth only feeds ghosts. We remember Thermopylae as pure bravery, and maybe it was, but behind every legend lies a heartbeat, a compromise, a truth that doesn't fit the story we tell. Maybe the last stand that isn't about cowardice, but about the price of the myths we need to believe. Because when we polish history into perfection, we erase the messy humanity that made it powerful in the first place. History never dies, it just echoes.